I'm going to look at some of the symbolism on the cards and then read a short synopsis of the Fool's journey. And then I will talk about gifts or the experience of this path. So we're talking about Saturn energy. We're talking about how death comes from life. And the card of death in the tarot here is the one from the Heindel deck. It shows the raven. It shows a skeleton and a tree, which is life. It shows the scorpionic type energy, but also Plutonian as the ferryman on Hades. I want to show you the Magician and the Fool cards. This one is from the Forest deck, and the only thing I wanted to show you is that there are roses underneath the bunny here, and the figure 8, which is the lemniscate, or the number 8, we'll be talking about a little bit later, and it is the number 1 energy here, whereas Fool is the 0. And we'll be talking about 1s and 0s later too. Oops, sorry. This Magician card shows sun and moon polarities. It shows the spear going in the cup, and I'll talk about the grail. And it shows a sword in the stone, and I'll be talking about that. Male and female together. It's also sexual symbolism. I'll be talking about that a bit later as well. And then this is the Fool card in the Heindel deck. And the Fool is the Joker, which is the Magician, which is any card in the tarot, as well as being the 0. 1s and 0s being the Matrix, but I digress. And I just wanted to show you the symbol here. So, you know, we've seen that. Bearheart has shown us that symbol as well. Here's the Lover's card, and it just shows you a black and white bunny. It's nothing spectacular. Other cards I just wanted to throw in there. 8 being the number of Mercury and of logic and reason. The 8 of Stones here is called knowledge. And the 2 of Stones, which represents change, is called harmony here. And that's interesting because it relates to the Lover's card also being called harmony and change, and the 2 polarities are the 2 lovers, or 2 beings of Earth, even. I wanted to show you the 2 of Cups. It's interesting because there is a peacock on there, which is like Luciferian, light bringing, not Lucifer, Lucifer in terms of being a light bearer, and the rainbow and the 7 chakras as a color of the peacock, and the pineal gland of the peacock feather. And the name of the card is Love. I'm going to show you another 2 of Cups, and you can see there's the Caducean mercurial wand in the middle. So now I'm going to read the experience of the Fool. Basic tarot story. The Fool comes to a crossroad, filled with energy, confidence, and purpose, knowing exactly where he wants to go and what he wants to do. But he comes to a dead stop. A flowering tree marks the path he wants to take, the one he's been planning on taking. But standing before a fruit tree marking the other path is a woman. The Fool has met and had relationships with women before, some more beautiful and alluring, but she is different. Seeing her, he feels as though he's been shot in the heart with Cupid's arrow. That's how shocking, how painful is his recognition of her. As he speaks with her, the feeling intensifies, like finding a missing part of himself. It is clear that she feels the same way about him. They finish each other's sentences, think the same thoughts. It is as if an angel above had introduced their souls to each other. Though it was his plan to follow the path of the flowering tree, and though it will cause him some trouble to bring this woman with him, the fool knows he dare not leave her behind. Like the fruit tree, she will fulfill him. No matter how divergent from his original intent, she is his future. He chooses her, and together they head down a whole new road. Or head up. Haha. Keep that story in mind as I talk further. Some people say that the fool is actually the spirit, which is actually the female type energy. But doesn't matter. In some versions of path workings I've come across, because I've specially selected the ones that I have, the journey is up to Bina from Tifareth, and you meet your other half, and then a sword comes and chops the other half, falls down the tree, and then you have to go retrieve them. And that's pretty harsh. Not that this path is very challenging, and that's because you're crossing the abyss, as well as you have to come up and cross these two dark nights of the soul to get up there to Bina. Alright, so I'm going to start talking about, well, I'll talk about a few more imagery on this card, then I'm going to talk about the gifts and experience of the path. So in the Thoth deck at the top, which is more Crowleyan type path, there is the red lion and the white eagle. And then you can see in the temperance card the lion becomes white and the eagle becomes red. And the being is a moon sun being, so it's a fully integrated personality, or person with the personalities. Other versions show a person I have, well, just might as well show you now. This stands more true to the Rider-Waite, a person measuring water between 2 cups. Again, I showed you the 2 of cups earlier. And 1 foot on land, 1 foot in the water. So temperance is about balance, as well as the integration of the 2 personalities, which is needed for the magician. Here again in Heindel is the moon and the sun together. And the name for this card is alchemy. And you have the arrow, a Sagittarian arrow, or the directed will of energy. I'll be talking more about the sword imagery later. Okay, I'm gonna have to break this part up into 2 parts because it's quite long. But on these walking the paths on the tree, you go through challenges or a trial, even an initiation. And I showed you how that works on the tree. But it is worth the reward, a possible reward. But you have to determine or not whether your choice or whether or not something is worth the risk. This path provides psychic understanding and link because it is provided by Saturn, that he can grant you to be beyond time and space, and the past, present, future 0 point. We have 5 senses, and psychism is often referred to as the 6th sense. However, 5 is a pentagram in the number of man, and we have 4 elements, and the 5th is regarded as spirit. The 1 is of God, which is the 0 and the 1, and plus the 5 of man equals, again, 6 of the sun. And so Hermes is the communicator between third eye, personality, and the Godhead. This path will give you second sight. Although the Lover's card is related to the sense of smell, the scent goes up our nose and arguably can activate this pineal gland, this third eye. As this card is about love, love is about feelings, and so we have the empathic and the emotional telepathy of empaths. It is direct, divine inspiration to the personality, or cuts to the very origin of being and the root person that you are, and helps you tap into the energy source, which is limitless potential, and helps us interface with this. It is the realization of intrinsic nature and the essence of Godhead. It is the holy in man. Another name is the crown of valor. And so when you think about saints, you think about the light that's around their head, and Keter being the crown. So it is the priestess plus the priest. And it is definitely like a reality program. And it is a very important path, and they are called keys to the tarot, and this is a very important key. As would have it with synchronicity and seeing the hand of God in all, recently some people I've been watching on YouTube have been talking about very timely subjects. One of them is, I hope I'm saying his channel right, Hurrah TV or Hur VT. He said in one of his videos about Nuit or Night, which is the starry cosmic mother, that we can't see our own Godhead. It's definitely difficult for us to see our own light because we go around saying, all I see is night. And I think he gave the example, or I just thought of it when I was watching his video. When we go into the forest at nighttime with our flashlight, we can't see anything, and we have to let our eyes adjust to the darkness. And then we can see. And that's because we can't see that we are the sun. We are the ones projecting the light. All we see is darkness. So I said before how this is the path of faith, and it is conversation and communication with gods. Arguably, seeing is very logical, and hearing is very more an emotional female sense. So when you put the male and female together, you're able to see and hear the gods. We think of the spheres as modes of consciousness, the planetary consciousnesses, and this brings us beyond the abyss of logic and reason, and we listen to our heart center, the central sun, but emotion doesn't overrule our reasoning, because it is following our conscience over passion, and if you're lucky, your passion is your conscience. It is the gift rune of Gebo, which is the X rune, which is a rune of partnership, or the kiss of Tifereth. It is not the cross of Mars. It is the sexual union, as the cross is one line of Osiris and one line of Isis. It's about relationship and connections, about unity, self-identity, relationship with God, and how we use or how we relate to love and power. As Knight of Swords is action, the air, and the mind. Is how is pleasure, so we need to relax, but we also need to take action. Such as our relationship with drugs, it is an inert thing, such as a sword or magic. It's just a tool, it's just sitting there, and it doesn't become good or bad until we use it. It is the double-edged sword of introspection and involution. I'm going to break here and follow me.